Okay, let's talk about the Lakers, and then we can go on to some other things in the league. That loss against the Pelicans, man, that was rough. I mean, the 20-something turnovers. The two I remember the most was like LeBron making a lazy full court pass that got stripped, Westbrook trying to thread the needle to Melo battling for position in the post. The one play on defense I remember was them trapping CJ when Valanciunas was setting a screen for him, and then he was just basically wide open on the roll. LeBron rotated a bit, but it really didn't make a difference. And, they did this DeAndre Jordan, DJ Augustine swap. Okay, cool, fine. The body language was real bad, and Anthony Davis is out for, 4 to 5 weeks, I believe it is. Their chances of getting out of the play-in tournament are pretty much zero at this point, because they're not going to get past the Nuggets, who have won 6 in a row and are already 7 games up on them. Even if they get through the play-in tournament, you're just facing the Suns, Warriors, or Grizzlies in round 1. To go back to my bold prediction, I think the Grizzlies will surpass the Warriors because of schedules and stuff like that, Draymond's injury. Sure, if you want to be a Lakers super-duper optimist, you can say, well, Chris Paul's injury, Draymond's injury, what if AD comes back and then it's like an insane upset potential in round 1? Listen, man, I don't think a lot of people are on that boat with you right now. And so we look to the offseason, and there's a chance I'm going to end up saying some of this stuff again in a couple of months or whatever, but assuming LeBron wants to be a Laker, then you're of course looking at the potential of trading Westbrook, and you hope that you don't have to give up assets in order for somebody else to take him on. He is an expiring contract this offseason. I don't think that suddenly opens up the floodgates of teams being willing to take him, but it only takes one team. I've seen some people bring up, well, what about the Knicks getting off of the Fournier contract? I can always be wrong. My gut is that the Knicks are not going to want to get that wild. I've seen people bring up Indiana, like Brogdon or Buddy Hield. Call me crazy, I don't think that's going to happen. Maybe Houston really is the one team, and it's just because they were apparently willing to do it at the deadline, but there was a hang-up on the draft pick. Apparently they were willing to go pick swap, and the Lakers were still like, yeah, we don't know about that one. Which, it's understandable because it's a safe bet LeBron's not going to be on the team in 2027. On top of, unless Anthony Davis agrees to an extension, he's not on the team that far out as of right now either. I have seen some people bring up trading Anthony Davis. The only way I would even contemplate that for 5 seconds if I was the Lakers is if I was getting back at least a mid-20-year-old star and just a haul of other stuff. Besides all that, they just got to do a better job on these minimum contracts. And I know it seems impossible for the Lakers to turn this around in one offseason. We must remember, they did win a championship with LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and a bunch of role players. Of course, they also got lucky with health, and that has been a problem the past couple of seasons, especially with AD. Speaking of AD, I think we all agree that he is at his best when he is a springy power forward and not a bulked up center. Also, if they're going to keep Frank Vogel past this offseason, they've got to get an assistant, somebody who can spice up their offense in some way. Even when this thing was going really well, their offense still had times, especially in the half court, where it was really sludgy, and sometimes LeBron's dribbling the air out of the ball and then it doesn't matter because he's amazing, but yeah, you get it. I think some of their minimum contract guys could be keepers. You'd like to hold on to Malik Monk, but he's probably going to get a bit of a payday this offseason. Stanley Johnson is on a team option, so they can hold on to him. Austin Reeves is under contract for $1.5 million next year. He fits in already. Kendrick Nunn is on a player option next year. Who knows if he's going to accept that, but if he does, he could be a source of offense. We just haven't seen him all year. Anyway, let's transition to other NBA stuff. But before we do that, this video is sponsored by SeatGeek, and you can get $20 off of tickets at SeatGeek with promo code FUNKY. Personally, I've used SeatGeek to buy tickets to Celtics games various times, and it's always been an easy process. But it's not just basketball. It can be concerts, baseball, football, festivals, and they also let you know what is a good deal and a bad deal when selecting your seats by giving you a green or red dot. A green dot is a good deal, a red dot is a bad deal. Once again, that is code word FUNKY to get $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek, and you can click the link in the description to download the app. Okay, let's talk about some potential Western Conference playoff series right now in the first round. So, the Jazz are most likely the 4th seed, which means they're going to get either the Mavericks or the Nuggets, most likely in round 1. And with the Jazz Maverick series, you're thinking about, would the Jazz ever try to switch Gobert onto Luka? I mean, they did that in the fourth quarter of the game they played recently, and Gobert actually did have some decent success there. Would they drop, but not a super drop? Because you don't want to give Luka too much of a runway to get his scoop shots and all that off, right? Would they also try to turn the game into like a 2v2 game and stay home on shooters as much as possible? Dallas, of course, has had a good season on defense, but they still don't have like that one specific lockdown type of dude, which will affect things against mainly Donovan Mitchell, I would say. I think we could also use more of a sample size of Dallas's defense without Porzingis' rim protection. If it's Jazz Nuggets, you're thinking about just the Gobert-Jokic thing, you know? Gobert defending Jokic in the post, as well as when he's got to come out to the three-point line or just outside of the paint against Jokic, can the rest of the Jazz defenders hold up with cuts inside and just off-ball action? There's apparently also the possibility of Jamal Murray and MPJ being back. Whether they're full strength, we would most likely doubt that. We're also going to get one of the Warriors or Grizzlies versus one of the Mavs or Nuggets. We'll see who ends up getting the 2 seed there, and also Dallas and the Nuggets are tied for number 5 right now. I mean, Draymond's health is the big thing, right? Whether that is him defending Jokic in the post or helping on Jokic post-ups, and then you trust Draymond to be able to close out, or if it's him rotating over to protect the basket because there's a cutter off of Jokic's existence pretty much. You're also thinking about Draymond against the Mavericks, and there's the potential of him switching onto Luka. I think the Warriors are more equipped than your average team to throw extra guys in the paint while still having one dude defending basically 2 shooters on the opposite corner. But Luka's also good enough to see that you're doing that and then pinpoint the exact moment to then throw the pass to a guy to where he's still open. Jokic as well. I mean, this is all going to be tough. And as far as Memphis, I mean, they're involved in this as well. I do think about their 2 big guys versus Jokic, you know, Steven Adams and Jaren Jackson, and I'm like, well, does Steven Adams have a chance to guard Jokic outside of the paint? Does Jaren Jackson have a chance to guard him in the post? Of course, it's a whole team thing with Jokic, but it would help if the initial defender can hold up for at least a bit on him. On the other side of things, trying to defend Ja Morant, I mean, Jokic, in the games that the Nuggets and Grizzlies have played, they've experimented with having Jokic play higher up on the screen to slow down Ja, like basically right around the screen. And, Ja, he's so shifty that he gets a big guy going one way and then he can just be the other way with an in and out or a crossover or whatever. So then they tried drop coverage, but then that just gave him a runway to get to other stuff. So I assume you'd see a lot of Dylan Brooks on Luka, being physical as hell, seeing what he can get away with, as well as Desmond Bane. I mean, those are just 2 strong wings/guards who you can put on Luka. So yeah, the West playoffs, they should be a good time, and we are most likely going to get like 2 really good series in round 1.